Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift. It's Tuesday night, it's what we call Healthy Love Night. How you doing? I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. Those on TuneIn Radio, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Across the pond, One Harmony Radio. Top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK. PEMGTV.com. WGLRO, the People Station, taking you from the sheets to the streets with the Donnie Walker Morning Show, touching all points from Detroit to Denmark and everywhere in between. Big ups to you. And of course, those right here at the home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. You have my word, I wouldn't even try. Inviting you all to jump on into the stew pot on kevinstew.com. It's where we keep things bubbling. Others call it a chat room. We're very fancy over here. It's the stew pot. Kicking it off with Skinny Fabulous. Working out with Black Shadow.
Baby, talk to me direct. Talk to me direct. Baby, talk to me direct. Why for me, girl, nice. Tell me, baby, girl, now where you want from me.
It's called Direct Shot.
Baby, don't be shy, just put it all on me. Girl, your body right, and your feet so tight. Tell me, baby, girl, now where you want from me. Do you want it from the back? Do you want it from the top? Tell me if you like this shot. I love it when you do it like that. When you whine and you grind and I jump from behind, girl, I can't keep focus. I can't concentrate, girl, I can't think straight while you're whining. Oh gosh, yeah, girl, your way so wonderful. I hope it's understandable. Your hand now where I want to pull down. So do you want it from the back? Do you want it from the top? Tell me if you like this shot. I love it when you do it like that. Baby, I love it when you do it like that. Baby, see the big stick you're supposed to ride. Free up your mind from close to eye. Whether you're slim or oversized, skinny, fabulous, girl, you know I got overdrive. Anything goes, no rules apply. No position supposed to try. Me hang you out like close a eye. Can't close your eye. Baby, girl, now where you want from me. Baby, don't be shy, just put it all on me. Girl, your body right, and your feet so tight. Tell me, baby, girl, now where you want from me. Do you want it from the back? Do you want it from the top? Tell me if you like this shot. I love it when you do it like that. Baby, I love it when you do it like that. Do you want it from the back?
That's on, I'm Skinny Fabulous working out with Black Shadow.
Do you want it from the top? Tell me if you like this shot.
I want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show.
Do it like that.
When being in the moment is priceless, you want to give them a call. 754-999-6020 or visit them at paulcmg.com. Tell them DJ Kevin Stew sent you. What can they do for you? Everything you see right here on kevinstew.com. You want to stream something live? You want to create a streaming section on your page? You want a website? You want to host your website somewhere? Pulse Media Group has the solutions for you. Just give them a call. Say, hey, I heard about you on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, and he said that you are the people to talk to.
Do you want it from the top? Tell me if you like this shot. I love it when you do it like that. Baby, I love it when you do it like that.
Pulse Media Group people are good people. They'll take care of you.
Tell you like this. Shot, shot,
Numbers to get you in touch.
shot, shot, shot.
773-789-STEW. You can type,
When you do it like that.
then you can text. You can swipe. You can send a message. You can call, you can text 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. If you're overseas and you can't call or text, no worries. That's what the Stew Pot is there for. And if you're shy and want to send a private message, you can always Skype. Kevin.stew is a Skype handle. So multiple ways to get you in touch. If you're in the Stew Pot and you want to change your name, not a problem. Just click on the customize gear and you can change your name right there. Alright, if you want to remain anonymous, so be it. Cool. So it's Healthy Love Night. And tonight on Healthy Love, we're looking at what a systems biologist has to say about the whole COVID-19 situation. And specifically, it is about the COVID-19 response. Now, this was taken from an interview that Dr. Richard Mercola did with the systems biologist. And he starts off by looking at the whole pandemic. And at the time when this happened, it was April 6th, and there were more than 1.4 million cases worldwide and 370,000 confirmed cases in the US, with New York City specifically, being one of the hotspots. And Dr. Mercola interviewed Shiva Ayadurai. Shiva has a PhD in systems biology from MIT. His academic background gives a slightly different perspective on the outbreak, as it focuses on the foundational causes of disease rather than the conventional medical paradigm that tends to focus on pharmaceutical remedies. And Ayadurai explains, quote, "The MIT Department of Biological Engineering was created in 2003. The notion was that you needed an engineering approach to biology, as new advances or new discoveries were coming out in biology that created the Department of Biological Engineering." Cool. Now, one of the big things that took place in 2003 that led to the formation of that department was, in an ironic kind of a way, what occurred with the Human Genome Project starting in 1993. We went into the Genome Project with a reductionist view of biology. Biologists essentially thought that the number of parts meant complexity. We knew in 1993 a worm had around 20,000 genes. So we said, okay, we're going to start mapping out the human genome. We were at least 25 times more complex. The notion was we had about 500,000 genes. By 2003, they only found 20,000 protein coding genes. That flipped biology totally over on its head. Because it said, hold up, we have the same number of parts, and they thought genes were a reflection of complexity. That led to systems biology starting around about 2003, which said, look, genes create proteins and these proteins interact. So, it's about all these interactions. Makes sense, right? Cool. I was right there with it. He goes on to say, today, that has led to this field called epigenetics, in which we know that the external environment, what we interact with, can turn on and off genes. I came back to MIT in 2003. I did 4 degrees at MIT in electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. My master's was in design, but I was always fascinated with medicine. So clearly this man had a lot of things going on in his head. So the project Ayudurai took under his belt, the project he took on for his PhD when he was working on his thesis was to mathematically model the whole human cell. His work led to the creation of a platform called CytoSolve. Cyto for cell, and solve kind of speaks for itself. Now, this approach is different from biology, computer science, and chemistry altogether. So, how is it different? Biologists are essentially distributed knowledge engineers. And this is how he explains it. And the thing they're trying to understand is this thing called the body. No different than aeronautical engineers trying to build the airplane. The difference is when we build an airplane, we actually know what we want to build. And we know the parts in biology. We're finding the parts. And that's what they're doing. Some biologists can win a Nobel Prize just for looking at how 2 proteins interact. So they're very focused on understanding these parts. So imagine if we could create a technology where we would take those parts, integrate them, and then essentially let them be focused in their silos. But there wouldn't be this framework that you could integrate, where you could integrate these molecular pathways. Now, that really created cytosol. To me, he says, it was a big circling back because I grew up in India where my grandmother practiced traditional systems of medicine. And for those who are familiar with traditional systems of medicine, this is where you're talking about the holistic approach. You know, when you let the food be a medicine and medicine be a food, that kind of a thing. Right. So, in that system of medicine, they had diagnosis methods. They looked at you, they figured out your body type, and they would figure out the right types of foods and medicines, herbs, or even body work to get you back into balance. Because the whole idea of this disease, which is dis-ease, was based around the body being out of balance. Makes sense, right? Cool. In its simplest form, it makes sense. And that was always seen as black art, quote unquote, from a Western medicine perspective. However, this black art seemed to work for everybody else that, weren't the Western medical geniuses. So, CytoSolve let us decipher what they were doing and actually understand these synergies. So, that's what systems biology is about. It is taking an engineering systems approach to the body. It is literally understanding how to diagnose and assess and identify what the problem is, and then how to administer a prescription within a few minutes. It's essentially an AI type model. Now, as noted by Ayudarai, and you can look him up, his name is spelled Ayyayadurai. That's Ayyadurai. And his first name is Shiva. Basically, what Ayuradai was saying is the COVID-19 pandemic is not only highlighting our immune health, but also our economic health. We're seeing the integration of medical policy and economic policy. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? Wait, but a lot of things that are happening seem to be happening along these two lines, the medical line and the economic line. So he goes on to say, I had a very interesting discussion with a leading economist. And he had a serious concern about the fact that economists are being forced to backfill in a misguided health policy, which is occurring. What he meant by that is they're being told to just use quantitative easing, which is basically printing money, and that will solve the problem. How much of a solution is that? Now, for those who studied economics, isn't adding more money to the economy kind of counterproductive when it comes to the strength of that or the value of that currency? No, that entire process does two things. First of all, we have about 10 million unemployment claims in March alone. In addition to that, you have the fact that we're going to print money, which if you look since 2008 and 2009, when quantitative easing started, that has essentially been the biggest transfer of wealth to the 0.01% again. You've heard mention of the 0.01%, right? No, it is essentially a weakened earning power of the weakened value of the dollar. So that's what happened. Now we have this COVID-19 and have this economic overreaction. And he goes on to say, in my opinion, from the fear mongering, in many ways it reflects the immune system. So the economic overreaction comes from fear mongering. Some of us have heard that argument before, so it's not new. The immune system fundamentally wants to operate well. That's basically what it is there for. It's to protect us. So it wants to operate well for you and maintain homeostasis. And it's the overreaction of a weakened and dysfunctional immune system that causes harm. Similarly, when you look at it from the economic standpoint, we have this unbridled overreaction. In my view, we're not looking at what modern medicine is saying, that we should take a personalized medicine approach. One size does not fit all. This is basically flatten the curve, kick the can down the street. We're just going to wait until when? Until the vaccine is produced or until a drug comes out? The assumption is that the immune system of all of us is equally weak. That is what this is based on. The assumption is that all of us are going to get it and all of us will suffer from it. It is a very interesting model. Look at the person leading this health policy, Dr. Fauci. His background is from the pharmaceutical world. And when you look at the NIH and the CDC, these organizations are heavily influenced by pharmaceutical companies. Connect the dots. In that environment, the model has always been never to discuss immune health. What we can do to support the immune system, those are left out. It's always under the assumption that there's a big boogeyman. That the virus harms your body. Most medical doctors, again, they're victims of this education. Many of them are taught the virus literally comes and attacks your body, and that a vaccine or pharmaceutical intervention blocks it. It's not taught broadly that the problem is that the dysfunctional, weakened immune system is not running on all cylinders. One part of it can overreact. And that overreaction is what goes in and attacks your own tissues. So the issue is we're not having a discussion at all in the media about how do you modulate that overreaction and support people's immune health. One of the things that Dr. J. Love would talk about all the time is supporting that weakened immune system. And you'd hear me talk about it. You'd hear me present on it. I'm no doctor, I'm a DJ. There's a difference. And I'm happy to keep the two different. Let the doctors do what the doctors do and I'll do what I do. The whole idea of sustaining the immune system and strengthening the immune system is mentioned in passing. And it is mentioned in passing on heading to that drug, that vaccination. Not heading to that diet, that lifestyle. You understand? So this is where a Yadurai is coming from. And I totally get it. And similarly, he notes that the economic collapse is, quote, a result of precisely engineered governmental policies, end quote. Even though those policies superficially appear to be in the public's best interest. Things that make you go, So, the question was asked, hey, is COVID-19 a real pandemic? I've heard radio personalities ask that question also. And with good reason. I don't blame anybody for asking that question because these questions are there to be asked. The issue is not many people are answering them. So, COVID-19 meets the technical definition of a pandemic. And the World Health Organization did declare it as such. However, the death toll is nowhere near that of earlier serious pandemics that would legitimately justify the extraordinary measures being deployed by the US government. The Spanish flu in 1918 affected 500 million people worldwide, killing between 20 million and 50 million. The bubonic plague also killed 50 million people, wiping out a shocking 60% of the European population. This is typically what people think of when they talk about a pandemic. COVID-19 presently affects a tiny fraction of the global population. About 1.4 million cases out of a global population of 7.78 billion people. And even with a death toll of 81,000 worldwide, COVID-19 has a minuscule impact, having killed a mere 0.0001% of the population. Now, that's not to say that death is not tragic. Any death is tragic. But any given individual's risk of dying from an epidemic, of the epidemics of diabetes, heart disease, or cancer, is greater than their risk of dying from COVID-19. I never thought about it that way. I never looked at it that way. But this is an interesting perspective. And it makes you wonder just a little bit more. Wait, what is it that we're not being told? Are we being told everything? Why is death from lifestyle-induced disease and environmental toxicity more preferable and acceptable than death from an infectious disease? Dying from a preventable medical mistake is also a greater risk, as that kills up to 440,000 Americans every year. Where's the pandemic or the panic as it relates to that? Isn't the idea that conventional medicine kills 440,000 people a year a bit terrifying? I would think that it is. So 1 in 5 elderly patients are also injured by medical care. Where are the calls to protect our aging loved ones from that threat? We don't hear them. Were health policies more aligned with truth, we wouldn't have these chronic disease epidemics, and far fewer people would die from preventable medical mistakes. More people would lead healthy lives were they properly informed about what is harmful and what is actually healthy. Similarly, when it comes to COVID-19, there are simple strategies with which we can address this infection that does not require collapsing the global economy, creating unheard of unemployment, and isolating everyone from human contact for weeks on end. And you can actually find many articles detailing such strategies on this coronavirus page that there's a link to. And let me see, where can I tell you the exact link? There is a coronavirus resource page that Mercola.com has. You could check that out for those of you who are interested. All right, so as noted by Ayadurai, systems biology tell us that one size does not fit all. We need to move more the right medicine. Well, move towards the right medicine for the right person at the right time. But this knowledge has not been applied in this pandemic. Instead, everyone is being treated as though they're high risk for severe infection and death, and therefore need to take identical precautions. So, what then is really going on? He goes on to say, we have not said, hey, let's shut down the economy to address the fact that we have skyrocketing obesity taking place, skyrocketing diabetes. No. So the level of contradiction, the level of hypocrisy should wake everybody up to understand that there's another agenda. Things that make you go, There's another agenda. Think about that. Ayadurai says his mentor would say, when things don't add up, take a step back and ask, what is the other agenda? And the only thing in a common sense way that reveals itself to me is power, profit, and control. Now, when I read this, I thought, I had a right, dude. This systems biology that you've been doing, what else comes with that? Because this is a whole different level of thinking. This is the kind of thinking that individuals would have the conversation around the water fountain, or the guy is sitting at the bar drinking their third round after a stressful day. Now they start mellowing out and saying, hey, listen, I think this is that kind of thinking. So is Ayadurai a drinker, a smoker, just off his rockers? Or is he onto something here? Typically, when social psychologists look at things like conflict, typically people look at two sides, side one and side two. But when you step back, then you see the third side. And the third side often shows something that side one and side two have in common. In this case, Ayadurai is saying, hey, something just doesn't add up here. And I'm looking at this through a microscope. Let me take a different look at this. Let me look at it through a telescope and see what I see. So now we're looking at a bigger picture. Power, profit, and control. Things that make you go, We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more. Call a friend, tell a friend. It's the night shift with DJ Kevin Stewart's Healthy Love Night. And tonight we're looking at the whole, how a systems biologist looks at the COVID-19 response and the perspective that he's taking away from it. We looked at what a systems biologist is, what they do. And the systems biologist we're talking about tonight is Shiva Ayadurai. And this is an interview that he did with Dr. Richard Mercola. I thought this to be really a really interesting perspective. And I am inviting you to invite your friends to take a look into this. Not saying that, hey, whatever it is that you were told before is wrong. But just to say, let's look a little bit deeper with a wider lens. Sounds kind of crazy, right? Because if you're looking deeper, you'd think you'd go smaller. No, looking at things with a smaller lens, a more intense lens, then you're looking at smaller aspects. Let's look at the big picture in this case. When we come back, we're going to talk some more.
Pulse Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
A social distancing tip.
While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others, and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school,
In math,
I learned that I'm ugly
I
and
learned
useless.
that I'm trash.
And in gym,
In biology,
I learned that I'm
I learned
pathetic
that I'm fat
and a
and
joke.
stupid.
In history,
Today in
I learned that
school,
I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick.
And in
And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell.
and a joke.
In chemistry, I learned that no one
In
likes me.
biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in
I
math,
learned that I make people
I
sick.
learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today
The only thing I didn't learn today
The only thing I didn't learn,
It's why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.
Hey yo, this is Caraman to let you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the Night Shift. Don't move.
Ain't no love, ain't no love like my baby's love, like my baby's love. It's like burning fire. Oh, shut up in my bone, shut up in my bone. Ain't no lonely day
Want to welcome you all back to the show. It's a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Tuesday night. Night we do a thing we call Healthy Love. And tonight we're taking a systems biologist's view on the COVID-19 response. And I know there are a number of people singing this song to Corona like, hey, I never found somebody to love me like you do. Could you just take that love and go somewhere else? I want to say thanks to Althea and her healing heavenly hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you in Broad County, North Miami-Dade, South Palm Beach counties. She brings her table, she has her oils, and she just lays hands on you. Only requirement is that you get off her table when she is done. Of course, that you also pay her. And in it's just a matter of time before she starts making those house calls again. Keep the number handy, 954-655-9000. Or you can email her at thealater@att.net. Thank you, Althea, for sponsoring this segment. In the background, the sound of Ambelique. Never found me a girl. You know, I have to ask him, hey, next time I talk to him, I'm going to ask him. So, here it is, you come out with this new track. Never found me a girl. Your arrangement, your rendition of the classic. And it's round about the time of this young lady wreaking havoc all over the place. What kind of relationship do you have with Rona? You know, I'm gonna have to ask him, and as a matter of fact, I think I'll ask him tomorrow. I'll give him a link and ask him tomorrow, and I'll tell you what he says. All right, so going back to what we were talking about before, Dr. Richard Mercola had an interview with Shiva Ayadurai. Has a PhD in systems biology from MIT, and he had an interesting perspective into the COVID-19 response. And we left off with him saying, listen, I took a step back because something just doesn't add up, and looked at a little bigger picture. And what I was seeing was power, profit, and control. So no, when I saw that, I was like, power, profit, and control. Where have I heard that before? Now, like Ayadurai, Dr. Mercola also believes the fear-mongering is being used to suppress dissent, to crash the economy, and to issue medical mandates. If you look broadly, there were massive uprisings, anti-establishment uprisings in different countries. All of them are gone now. All of them. We don't even hear anything about them. In fact, we don't hear anything about anything much. So that takes care of the noise. In essence, you're silencing the masses. I had a discussion with a media colleague, and I said, in order to look like the savior, you create a problem when you have a solution. Let the problem run a little bit and then present the solution. So at that point, you become the savior, right? So I have the solution. You don't know I have the solution. I create a problem and I hold on to the solution for just a minute and let you stew in the problem. And then I go, well, here is this. This looks like it could work with that problem that you're facing right there very well. I ran a few tests, and if you want, you could run the test yourself. So now I become the savior because I came with the perfect solution. However, you don't know that I was the one that created the problem. And I created the problem as a result of the solution that I have. So, I also believes this fear-mongering and social isolation mandates that will be used in a way to acclimatize people to accept state wants or what a few people deem is good for everyone. That is what is the thought is. That right there is the milieu being mindset. That's the masses being set up. That's teeing up for the golfers out there. It simply doesn't add up when you look at mortality rates. There's another agenda. That's what Aradurai says. That is what I see. So here's a systems biologist looking into it once more. It doesn't make any rational sense, he says, to crash the economy over COVID-19. I think that's why a number of the videos, the tweets that he has done, he's saying that's why they have gone viral. Because to everyday working people, it doesn't make sense either. And the whole idea is that they're trying to sort this out. Now, interestingly, this epidemic is taking place just a few months after Google began censoring holistic health news. Bum, bum, bum. Anybody notice that? People searching for sound nutritional strategies can no longer find them. Instead, they're being directed to big pharma-backed sites which are promoting conventional medicine. The censorship isn't even about squashing non-scientific views anymore. Educated health professionals are being banned left and right simply for posting peer-reviewed studies showing nutraceuticals or nutraceuticals and showing that they work, or that drugs or vaccines don't really work, or not even don't really work, but don't work at all. And these include people being banned actually are shelved. Include people like Shiva Ayadurai himself. He got kicked off Twitter. And that was over a vitamin D post. A vitamin D post. You're going to get kicked off Twitter for that? So, Ayadurai goes on to say, it has essentially moved to a model of a finite set of people serving the interests of another finite set of people. That's what fundamentally is going on right now. When we really look back at the history of infectious diseases, what actually caused the real decline in infectious disease? Let's think about that for a moment. It came from sanitation, vitamin A, nutrition, elimination of child labor, refrigeration, and infrastructure at the political level. So, how do you get those things? This is a one layer people need to. It is the one layer that people need to understand from a human standpoint. It came about because in the late 1800s, there was a massive force of the American working class who were militant, and they fought for those rights. People lived in squalor. No one cared for them. It was the uprising of those people and very, very powerful, independently self-organizing systems all over the country that forced the elites to give them these basic infrastructures. I was having a discussion with someone today who, in a matter about 2 weeks, he'll be my guest in community and finance. And one of the things he was talking about is just that. People needing to understand what their rights are and to stand up and show that they understand what their rights are. And it may look like an act of force, but it's just, or an act of defiance, but it's really and truly just an act of making a statement. The statement being, wait, hold up, I will not be trodden on or pushed around. So, Aradurai goes on to say, what I see is the ability for people to organize and demand their rights and get them. That is what occurred in the late 1900s. And we got massive gains. Now, look at infrastructure today. Dirty water, dirty air, dirty food. And we look at them in synergy. How they affect our body. None of that is discussed. None of it. Something as simple, something as basic as clean running water in the United States, in parts of the United States, is like unheard of. Well, it's heard of, but it's like a thing of the past. Flint, Michigan, case in point. When was the last time they had clean running water through their pipes? They're still having issues with water. Why? In the great United States, that's an issue? So, the concern continues. Ayadurai goes on to say, I think the United States has a D+ in infrastructure. The roads, the bridges, and the water systems are all crumbling. And when you don't fix these things in time, they affect all types of environmental things. The elite of this country do not want to address that. They want to always create a fake problem and a fake solution in order to consolidate power. Now, that is one perspective that I never really connected the dots to. But it comes back to what I was saying earlier. You present a solution for a problem that you have already created, and you come out looking like the savior. Let's take a quick look at vaccine mandates, for example. There has been talk about that, and it's not a new discussion. There's been talk about it for quite a while, and I've presented on it a number of times here on this show during the 10 years that I've been doing this. And think about this. I'm not saying that this is what it is, but I'm saying give it a thought. Here it is. We have what is being touted as a pandemic. We have a virus that they say washing your hands with soap and water can prevent you from getting the virus, but yet still there's no cure for the virus. So when all the schools are shut down, when all the businesses are shut down, when all the entertainment is stopped, and they say, all right, in order to get back into those various areas, in order to get back into schools, in order to get back into workplaces, into office buildings, in order to get back to socializing in bars and clubs and on the beaches, you need to be vaccinated. What is that? Who provides this vaccination? Where's the proof that this vaccination works? There was the push for the flu vaccine. And I know people personally who have lost people after they have received the flu vaccine. Not that they went missing. They died. Could it be proven that the flu vaccine had something to do with it? Not outright. But shouldn't the question be asked nonetheless? How many times on social media have you seen where someone shared something with you and said, okay, this will soon be taken down because they took it down before? Well, if they took it down before, how you have it to share it? Another question that you can ask. And if you shared it with somebody else, do you still have it now? Or was it mysteriously removed? So, those questions still pop up every now and then, but not everybody asks them. Cool, that's fine. But just think, could there be an ulterior motive? Could there be some type of mandate, some type of elitist plot? And I know it might sound like some type of conspiracy theory or some movie kind of a deal, but here's the thing. I grew up hearing, if that's not how it goes, then it is something close to that. So, should we disregard any bits of information that lets you go, wait, hold up, what? I didn't think about that. Could it be? Or are we just supposed to be sheeple? So if our health depends on the information that we get, and we're getting tainted information, what kind of health are we going to end up with? And where are we going to go to recover from that ailment and now restore that health? Think about that for a moment. When you get that answer, let me know. We're going to take another quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more. It's a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, Healthy Love. And we're looking at a systems biologist's views as it relates to the Covid-19 response in the United States. We'll be right back. When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is working to help keep you and your community safe from the threat of novel or new coronavirus. Take the following everyday steps to help avoid the spread of all respiratory viruses. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue. Throw the tissue away and then wash your hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects or surfaces, such as remote controls and doorknobs. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. And stay home if you are sick. Call your healthcare provider if you develop fever, cough, or difficulty breathing. For more tips, visit cdc.gov.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about PALACE. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This nonprofit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, PALACE has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.
I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Well, DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul, that's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Celestia DJ Kevin Stew.
What we got here is not a fool's dream. Really feel the need. We've gone to ground like prisoners on the run, just minutes away from freedom. Ain't no use in fooling ourselves. We really feel the need. Whatever it takes, nothing would be too much. We both long for better days. The way we were, different as the seasons, never ever giving reasons. Left with the tears and the paralyzing fear that brings us to our knees. Change, bring on the changes. Change, bring on the changes. No pretending, no denying. When you really feel the need, got to hang on and be strong. Turn the tables, make the change. Two of us, different as the seasons, never ever giving reasons. Left with the tears and the paralyzing fear that brings us to our knees. Change, bring on the changes.
Want to welcome you back to Healthy Love right here on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew.
Bring on the changes.
This segment is sponsored by Reggae Global Entertainment.
Bring on the changes.
Reggae Global Entertainment takes care of your booking needs, your publishing, your copyrights, legal contracts, and so much more. Give them a call at 954-998-8034 or visit them at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. In the background, the sound of Incognito. It's called Change.
There's gotta be some give and take if we're ever gonna make it. Change, bring on the changes, baby. Ooh, change, real, bring on the changes. If you really need, yeah.
going back to what Ayadurai was saying before we took the break. He says, listen, I think the United States has a D+ in infrastructure. The roads, the bridges, and the water systems are all crumbling. And when you don't fix these things in time, they affect all types of environmental things. The elite in this country do not want to address that. They want to always create a fake problem and a fake solution to consolidate power. And that is why, when you look at this COVID-19 phenomenon that is taking place, it's a, well, it's a penultimate of it. You create massive amounts of fear, so people will be willing, because they're under economic stress, under what they think is a health threat, to give up their rights. So, going back to this vaccine mandate, here it is. The best way in order to introduce a new vaccine when you have so much resistance to vaccinations is to get people to ask for it. So here it is that there's this virus. And not to say that the virus doesn't cause problems. It does. Not to say that as a result of the virus, people have not been dying. Yes, they have. But people are also recovering. And we're not hearing so much about the recovery cases. I know of a 96-year-old woman that is recovered now from the virus. 96. My mechanic, his mother had the virus. She's in another state. He's a mechanic and a friend. She had the virus. She recovered. She was in the hospital. She's home now. There was a 70-year-old doctor on social media. I saw this one. Recovered. So it's not that people are not recovering. It's just not being reported that people are recovering. And the other part of it is the people that are recovering, they don't get tested anymore. So can't they still have the virus? So there was a young lady that I saw on a video. Someone sent it to me where she had a second test done. And the testing facility didn't know that she recovered from the virus until she said after she got the results. Because they told her, hey, listen, you have the virus, you need to quarantine. And she goes, wait, I was just quarantined for 2 weeks and I just recovered from the virus. What do you mean I have the virus and I need to quarantine? So I need to quarantine again? And they're like, wait, what do you mean? We don't normally test people a second time. Well, I wanted to get tested again. So even that, why wouldn't you want to test someone again? Because you don't have enough test kits? Why don't you have enough test kits? Why can't you get more test kits? So these other little questions are other questions that tend to get pushed aside. Nobody wants to address these little things. Nobody wants to address the fact that you only get tested once, and if you have it, you don't get tested again. No. After you go through it, why can't you get tested again? Because people who have the flu don't get tested for the flu when they're done. You go back for a follow-up visit when you go to the doctor, don't you? That's what happens. You go to the doctor, you have an illness, you go to the doctor, they tell you to come back for a follow-up to see how you're doing. But in this case, with something new like COVID-19, you don't get tested again to see how evident the virus is in your system. So now you're walking around just fine and doing jumping jacks and running and playing ball again and singing because you couldn't do it last week because you were sick as a dog. Now you've recovered and you can do it. They don't want to test you because you're fine, but you get tested and you show that you have the virus? So that says two things to me. As a DJ, not as a doctor. Right? Not a DJ, not a DR. It says you can have the virus and do all the things that you did prior to having the virus. You can run, you can jump, you can dance, you can sing, you can play, you can do all the things and have the virus. Which would mean that outside of the time when that virus initially takes hold of you, takes residence in your system, and you initially respond to it, and you get sick, outside of that period, you're fine carrying this virus. It wouldn't be the first virus that human beings are carrying. Those of us that have had chickenpox, that virus is in our system. I have had chickenpox, which means later on in life I can have shingles. It comes from the same virus. This virus is laying dormant in my system right now. I'm not going to get chickenpox again, but there's a possibility that I will have shingles. What makes COVID-19 any different from the chickenpox virus? I'm fine. I have no bumps or pustules on my body anywhere, but the virus is in me. So if you test me for chickenpox right now, wouldn't I show that I have the virus? Things that make you go, So here it is. They want people to give up their rights. And that is a plausible argument. And IRI says that is where I see this heading. It's an interesting convergence of economic attack and attack on people's health. An attack on people's autonomy and freedom. Truth, freedom, and health are all under attack. They do not want any discussion about indigenous peoples' medicines that have worked for centuries. They do not want to talk about simple solutions. So they suppress disclosure, suppress debate, suppress freedom, and move everything away from the scientific method, which is a process where you actually have to prove stuff, which is what they claim they want to do to scientific consensus. Freedom gets suppressed, and now you can move truth to scientific consensus. So you go from suppression of freedom to fake science or outdated science at best. And then that is used to create a fake problem. And here comes the savior with a fake solution. And then, if you go to the health part, what that means is you diminish people's health. You control people's health. And now you have a populace which is so controlled, they do not have the strength to fight for their freedom. So you have the attack on freedom, you have the attack on truth, and you have the attack on health. All of those are interconnected. They too are a system from a systems perspective. Without freedom, you cannot have truth. Without truth, you cannot have health. And without health, we don't have the strength to fight for our freedom. See the cycle? And the way that truth actually is discovered should be through the scientific method. That is what's really been compromised. And that didn't just start happening now. It started from around about 50 years ago. So, in summary, the three-pronged agenda is power, profit, and control. To counteract the three-pronged threat, we then need academic reform and the freedom to discourse and debate. From that freedom, we get truth, and we get from truth, we're able to understand health. Not only physical health, but also in the broadest sense, the health of our systems, our infrastructure and environment. With health, we gain the strength to fight for even more freedoms. Ayada Rai goes on to say, for each one of those, there's a solution. When you go to freedom, for example, if you look at communication right now, we're heavily relying on Google, Facebook, and 3 major telecom companies. So basically, 5 CEOs control our communication. One phone to call them. And you can essentially, one phone call to any of them, or all of them, and you shut down communication. What is the solution? It may sound weird, and he does have a point with that. The major controlling factors. He says one solution is the founding fathers of this country created an institution called the U.S. Postal Service, the United States Postal Service. Why? Because the crown was not allowing each individual to communicate. So the notion of the press was all of us. There was no New York Times, and each one of us were supposed to be the press. If anyone interfered with your communications, they got a 20-year prison sentence. It was criminal. So the entire postal service system, was a decentralized environment enabling every American to communicate for pennies. That's cool, right? In 1997, when email volume overtook postal mail volume, Ayada Rai met with executives of the Postal Service and said, look, you guys should be living up to what you were chartered to do, which is to protect free communications. Why don't you offer a public email service and a public social media service? That would be protected by the laws of the Constitution. No one, including the government, could interfere. They thought it was a ridiculous idea. In 2011, the postal services were going out of business. Why? Because all the best parts of the postal service were privatized into DHL and FedEx. So again, he hit them really hard. And the Inspector General, Dave Williams, called him up. And he says, Shiva, why are you attacking us? Ayada Rai said, look, you guys are not doing your job. You're not in the postal mail business. You were supposed to be in the communications business. You are set up as a quasi-organization to protect our rights. So he goes on to say he did 2 chartered reports for them. And his point is, he says, we need a Digital Rights Act, and there's an institution that can supply us with that. It is the Postal Service. All these postal service locations could be converted to a mesh network. So there is an opportunity to have a network by the people for the people. Now, if someone wants to use Google and Facebook, and then you can. But there needs to be a public common. He goes on to say those few elite would object to this and have the power and control to prevent that from being implemented. Sure, definitely. That is why I believe we need to have a mass movement. Nothing has ever been given to us. People think slavery ends one day and we have freedom the next. No. Every point in human history has always been people chipping away at slavery to get freedom from the elite. So, Ayadurai goes on and discusses many additional issues and goes far deeper than we have the time to address and the material to present. But you can look up the interview. Check him out. Go to mercola.com and put his name in the search. Shiva Ayadurai. It's ShivaAyyadurai. Shiva Ayadurai. These are the things, these are the questions that we need to be asking sometimes. Instead of just taking whatever is being served to us. And when we ask the questions, then we need to get together and chart a course of action. Whether the course of action is going to be that we're going to sit down and take it, or we're going to say, no, we're not going to take it. But some type of action needs to happen. Or else, whatever it is we're being given, then we have to take. And we don't get to ask questions. But we need to be asking these questions. And when we ask the questions, we need to be getting some answers. Because we have a right.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
This is Ed Robinson. That's the title of the track right there.
Vicious 19 Dirty virus. Vicious 19 Sick of you. Yo. Ever since that day you came on this earth, you cause us pain, you make us hurt. Yes, we've been blind, but now the world can see. You're not alone around here, so take your owners and flee. Watch when a Lucifer, yo, dirty virus, Vicious 19 you know, welcome round here. Dirty virus, where you from? Vicious 19 carry some of them oppressors there when you leave. You like an evil spirit, you locked us down. We could not make one single sound, but like a yard man, we'll use the words and free the nation, free as the birds. Together we'll chant dirty virus, and that's a good word. Vicious 19 it's a even good one. Dirty virus, you try stop us, we'll stop you. Vicious 19 right now, I'm gonna tell you this enough. Our doctors and nurses, your respect is still. Keep on, fight the fight till the
until that day when we can congregate. Keep on, share this love, but let the virus kill the hate. So until then, let's chant, dirty virus. I hope you know we have some more class. COVID-19, yeah. You think you can stop us from put them together? Dirty virus, yeah. COVID-19, yeah.
I want to say thanks to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment of the show.
Mainstream woodlands won't play this one.
GMAT Music Solutions provides sound, lighting, stage production services, musical equipment, PA system, audio engineers, DJs, bands, musicians, singers. They bring your event to life.
Yo, a long time you remind.
Give them a call, 754-307-GMAC. That's 754-307-4622, or you can visit them online at gmatmusicsolutions.com. As a matter of fact, you can do your shopping from gmatmusicsolutions.com. Those of you who like your online shopping.
COVID-19, yo, I know for sure some mainstream woodlands won't play this one on their radios. But who round ya care? We never need them then, so we don't need them now. Hey fool, but us, yo, a long time you remind we are these germs, yeah. Dirty virus. How you want me to call your right name? COVID-19, yeah. Interested in remembering your name. Dirty virus, your friend swine. COVID-19, that's right. You run every stoplight. Couldn't wait on the green light. No.
This is Hezzy. For all the Hezites out there, Hez Run. The track Maximum Speed.
Session stop, everything drop. My baby just text me a picture on the WhatsApp. And I know me nearly have a attack. Oh, she feel do something like that. When she knows high blood pressure runs in my family. And now I need her like a baby needs its mommy. I'm coming, maximum speed to fulfill your needs. It's my guarantee. And baby, I'm a coming, maximum speed. You don't deserve an excuse, baby. You don't have to look in that way. Every I want to stash, anticipate a heavyweight clash. Carmen was a she but good. I can't wait, she's sizzling hot. Hey, I'm coming, maximum speed. You don't deserve an excuse, baby. I'm coming right away. Let me run every step. Couldn't wait on the green light. No.
Run every stoplight.
Tension stop, everything drop. My baby just text me a picture on the WhatsApp. And I know me nearly have heart attack. Oh, she feel do something like that. When she knows high blood pressure runs in my family, and now I need her like the baby needs its mommy. I'm coming, maximum speed to fulfill your needs. It's not guaranteed, and baby I'm a coming, maximum speed. You don't deserve an excuse, but have someone that
This is what we've come to share. Make everyone know.
This is Christina Lisa working out with Tasha T.
Let Babylon.
It's called Love Liberation.
No more will we be used to play the fool and push the toil. We know the strength.
Try to say that 10 times fast. Love Liberation.
The cure for every nation. Love liberation. The cure for every nation. Division is the enemy. Destruction is the sword. You fooled us maybe once before, but you cannot fool no more. This is the song for Jah-Ami. This is the song for us. Love is our everlasting key. When I and I rise on the liberation. The cure for every nation. Love liberation. The cure for every nation. That's a deal. Hey, we need a cure for the mind and soul, a cure for the mind and heart, a cure for the nation. Build a foundation, give them a head start. Catch a love, we never part. If sure we from the start, them teach me how to love, we conquer all evil plans. Liberation, encouragement and inspiration, increasing knowledge and motivation. Protect the new generation, give them love and affection. Liberation, the cure for every nation. The cure for every nation. Jah-Ami sing love liberation. The cure for every nation. Love liberation. The cure for every nation.
Massive. Listen. Tell me why can't we all unite? Stop the fuss. Come on, let's stop the fight.
This is the sound of Eva G.
Tell me why
Track is called Let's Unite.
all unite. Come on, Jah people. Let's do this right. Where is the love for humankind? Have we all gone blind? Where is our love for humanity? We just a chase, running after vanity. Stop and think about what we have lost. You can't even measure how much it costs, yeah. Come on, Jah people, come on, let's share. There's no time like now to love and to care, so tell me why can't we all unite? Stop the fuss, come on, let's stop the fight, yeah. Tell me why can't we all unite? Come
Come on, ya people, let's do this right. Life is precious, so let us live. There's still so much love that we can give. Why can't we give someone a helping hand? Pay attention, listen and understand. Please stop thinking so selfishly. We all are one, a big family. Free up your mind, your body and your soul. Liberate yourself and let the good times roll now. Tell me why can't we all unite? Forget all the fuss, come on, forget the fight, yes. Tell me why can't we all unite? Come on, ya people, let's do this right, yeah. Tell me why can't we all unite?
15 minutes before we get on out of here.
Yes, do this right.
I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me. Thank you for asking some of the questions.
Have we all?
I hope you take something away from this and you ask some questions of your own and do some more research and look through a wider lens. Take a step back and look at the bigger picture of what is going on. Could there be something else going on? These are questions you need to ask. I want to take a special time out right now to pay homage to the one that brought me here. Not here to the studio, not here to the US, but here into this world. Today my mother would have been celebrating 71 years on Earth. And friends of mine and I got together when my mother passed and created this tribute to her. It's an arrangement of Sweet Hour of Prayer, one of my mother's favorite songs. This is me on drums, Devon Hines on keys and organ, and Michael Davis on bass. And this was recorded in the studios of Irie Music Studios, courtesy of Constantine Thompson Jr. This is Sweet Hour of Prayer, tribute to my mommy. One day I'll tell you all the story about the actual recording of this track. It's really a short story, but today won't be that day.
To introduce this,
and I just want to.
I would like to take a solemn moment.
To introduce this song here.
Affected one way or another.
Courtesy of Gary Revelation Dixon.
In escalating within the UK, throughout the Caribbean, including Jamaica, USA.
It's a track called Heal the Land.
When I first heard this song by New Direction, it was around the time that
from the album Inspirational Love Songs.
Old boys had his life taken from
masterpiece.
My brother Pablo and I both know the grieving grandmother of this young child. It was at that point when it dropped in my spirit to record this version. So I approached all the featured artists on this album project if they would kindly contribute to this recording in special awareness to help fight this crime epidemic. GLR Records will offer all proceeds from this single to help this very serious situation as a result of these unnecessary and shameful crimes within our communities. It is written in 2 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and will heal their land. A heartfelt thank you from Gary Revelation Dixon on behalf of TTM Collective Orchestra and all the featured artists. Please share this message of love, and I will challenge and leave you with this. If we all did one encouraging assignment in our area to help put an end to these mindless killings, what would you do? Hallelujah!
There is hatred
Tamara B.
Even though I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Wife of third world lead singer AJ Brown.
My back against the wall with nowhere to turn. I lift my head up high and say, just
From the compilation Nice and Ready, Volume 10. That's what it's called, Jah Got Me Covered. You hear AJ Brown doing supporting vocals.
and lost, you were always there to show me the way.
That's teamwork.
At times my way I don't know, so I get on my knees and I pray. And I still feel the guidance, 'cause on your solid rock is where I will stand. So I know you got me covered. Thank you. Stormy seas at times I'll be. There's no need to worry. 'Cause your ultimate captain is always there to deliver me. So me not gonna make depression stop me from giving my praise. And even when the door is closed, Jah got the keys in his hands. I'll stand firm in my faith. He will make everything straight. I know you got me covered. Thank you. I never cease to praise him, even when my bills are way overdue. I never cease to
Thank you, each and everyone, once
and
again,
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for inviting someone.
One way to know where to turn.
Catch you tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here, kevinstew.com, for Real Talk Wednesday, also known as Marlon's favorite night shift show.
Even when I find my back against the wall with nowhere to turn, I just lift my head up high and say,
That's how we wrap up the night shift week tomorrow night. Real Talk.
even when I get lost, you were always there to show me the way.
Picking up where we left off last week, and we'll look at how to effectively take breaks to contribute to production.
Stormy seas at times I be. There's no need to worry.
But until then,
Jah feel me
y'all take care of yourselves and you stay safe, yeah?
deliver me.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida,
Stop me from getting.
I bid you good night.
And even when the door is closed, the master got the keys in his hand. I'll stand firm in my faith. He will make everything straight.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.